Hey, Sean.
Hey, Michael. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Cheers.
So we're recording this today on April 2nd at 3:45 p.m. This is going to be a trend report video. I just want to see where the future trends of the men's fashion industry is going, and I asked you to research prior ahead of time. What do you got for me?
Yep, so this week we'll be discussing men's prints and graphics in 21 and in 22.
So is this going to be for like the spring or fall seasons, would you say?
Definitely more for fall, but we are definitely seeing these trends already happen already in spring and in summer stuff already. So
typically right now for men's fashion, it does move, but it doesn't move nearly as fast as women's does. Like whereas like, you know, for women you could see a trend happening like, and 6 months later it's gone.
Yep.
Men's trends usually stick around for, I want to say like 2 to 4 years.
Okay.
And
just depending on how hot the trend is.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, guys are way more simple. I think with regards to like men's fashion, like women, they always have silhouettes. They have all this stuff. Guys, it's pretty bare bones. It's, you know, they either wear like a button down or a t-shirt. Yep. You know, and like the t-shirts, if you want to get really fancy, it's a V-neck. You know, it's it could, you know, I mean, I don't really know why that is actually, because I mean, I was going to say right now that for women it's because of body type. I mean, all guys have different body types too,
100%,
but
100%.
You know, maybe it's just because guys flex less with their outfits than women do. I'm not really sure, but it is interesting that you picked out prints and graphics. Can you like highlight that with the mouse? Yeah, you picked out like men's prints and graphics because I feel like prints have started becoming really relevant in like the men's market. I want to say around like 2015 and 16. Before then, men's fashion was very, very yarn dye driven. And what I mean by like yarn dye driven are like plaids, like stripes. I mean, stripes are still important now, but like that was kind of always the thing. Or like it was like stripes for knits. Knits are t-shirts and like plaids for wovens, like which are button downs. Yeah, I mean like, but nowadays too, it's like when you look at it, like spring and summer, nobody wears plaids anymore. Remember when like gingham checks were really big? Like, you know, like the whole checkered like
well, I feel like they've kind of transferred into more of the, like wearing, you know, the nice silk shirts, so those are more more dress wear.
Yeah, but even like the silk shirts, it's kind of been dominated by prints ever since like I want to say like 2016, and prints have been going really strong. And I know I see some brands trying to make yarn dyes happen again, and it's just not really working. Prints still seem to be the king, and it seems like prints are gonna be here to stay. So I think prints are a pretty good topic to cover right now. I know that there's a vast array of different print concepts out there, and I know you picked around 4 that you wanted to really focus on, so why don't you go over what those are? Yeah,
so the 4 we will be talking about today are distorted tie-dye, RetroNostalgia, digital fantasy, and Rerooted Craft.
Okay, so let's go with tie-dye first.
Cool, yeah, so obviously we know that tie-dye is massive right now and has been for the past year or two.
Right, so can you explain why you want to highlight this specific one? Because I want to say like tie-dye's been around basically forever. So why do you want to cover tie-dye today?
Just kind of want to see like talk about the evolution of tie-dye. I mean, obviously it's been around for, you know, decades, but it's kind of peaked right now, and now people are starting to go into more crazier different designs. As you can see in this one, it's kind of a double dip dye.
You know, yeah, but I mean, before we get into that, I want to cover a little bit more about tie-dye for what it's been. I feel like tie-dye really started peaking, like, or really, you know, it started growing at least back in, I think it was around 2019 when Adidas first released like their tie-dye collection. And you're right, like tie-dye's been around for a very, very long time, but I always feel like it was more of like a hippie deadhead kind of thing. You know, it was very like rock and roll, or very like, you know, it's like stoner or like acid trip type. It had that kind of ethos.
Artistic-minded person.
Right. But I think it only recently started trickling into like mainstream fashion. I give Adidas a lot of credit to that, but I think it was basically the fact that tie-dye is starting to get embraced by like the urban crowd. You know, it's Like you see a lot of tie-dye in streetwear now. You know, you see it a lot, and I think that really started happening in like 2019. You know, I was actually talking about it with Claudia. We thought 2020 was going to be the year of tie-dye. You know, we thought 2020, like tie-dye was going to dominate the entire market, and we prepared our line accordingly. You can kind of see in the back, it's like like array of tie-dyes. But I think it's because of COVID, it didn't happen, and I think you're starting to see a huge surge of it in 2021. So like, you know, I mean, like let's cover some of this stuff. Like, you know, I mean, like. But I do feel like tie-dye is starting to get a little bit overdone, you know? And so it's...
I agree, and that's why they've kind of, now it's kind of distorted tie-dye. They're giving it another...
They want to go like another
level.
Another level.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, for example, like this page that you have up here, like, you know, if you look at that, like, if you look at this first guy, like, I feel like that's overdone. You know, every single brand has that. I feel like that's like the easy way of just, I think that's a pure money play.
For sure.
You know, I don't really see like...
It's the safe play.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see a designer designing that feeling super excited about it. Like same with the one below, you know, like, I mean, sure, it's a cool color, but I mean, like, at the end of the day, people have seen that before already. I think that's in everyone's mind right now. It's, yeah, like, I mean, but like what you were pointing out earlier, why don't you go to that one, you know, like, so, you know, if you look at that, it's, you could see that, like, that specific design, it's the designers taking the tie-dye to the next level. Because what people don't know is that's actually a double process. Okay. So the reason why tie-dye is called a tie-dye is because, first off, it's a garment dye process. And so they take basically like a raw t-shirt, a non-dyed t-shirt, they tie it up into a bunch of different shapes, and then they put the dye on it, and then they basically launder it in the dye. And once you take out all the ties and you have the shirt open, you see the tie-dye effect. Now the way they did that guy over there, if you like, so the way they did that guy over there is they tied it the first time, and then they did all the lighter colors. And then they undid it, and then they tied it a second way with the black dye. So that's why you kind of get that double process look. So I could see how that's becoming more of like the evolution of a tie-dye. Yeah. And they're doing the piece setting over there.
Well, that's kind of where this new trend is going, is the matching sets.
Right.
Kind of going in, you have top and bottom. And then they're also talking about a lot of muted, earthy tones is going to be kind of...
Right, so like playing around with different colors, newer colors.
Kind of escaping to the outdoors is kind of another trend that's with prints as well. And so kind of using those earthy, muted tones, it kind of gives that nature feel.
Versus like the old school, like rock and roll, like Rasta colors.
Pink or Rasta, exactly.
And then, or like the single colors like this.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, and so like you kind of see how like they're doing like the tie-dye stripes.
Yep.
Yeah. I think they cheated though. I don't think that's a real tie-dye. I think they printed that.
That definitely looks like a print.
I could be wrong. I wish you could click it. You can't click that? Let me see. Yeah, you see, and zoom in on the back. No. Zoom in on that. Yeah, zoom in. Yeah, you see? You could see the white coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, that means they printed the whole thing. So that's not even a real tie-dye. It's a tie-dye look-alike. ASOS needs to step up their game, man.
Fakers.
You know why they do this?
Because it's easy to produce.
No, it's cheaper to print.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to print. Anyways, go back. So let's go back to it. Yeah, so let's keep scrolling down. See like different like other cool tie-dyes. You can see. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. So they're starting to tie-dye jackets now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's interesting.
Getting more on the outerwear.
You know.
Instead of just.
Yeah, like I mean, like that's. I don't even know if that's a real tie-dye.
That looks more like a print too.
Yeah, that looks like a print too.
Looking at it.
Yeah, but yeah, because it's. I was just gonna say like tie-dyeing like wovens. It's ridiculously hard because like you know how like knit fabrics are very pliable and stretchy like that and when you really think about it, like tie-dye, it's a liquid paint and it's almost like paint, and so like you know when you use like a water-based type of like dye like that, what happens is the fabric kind of soaks it up.
Yeah, it's very absorbent.
Yeah, but for knits, because they're so pliable, you could still get it soft, but then like if you use like really like cheap or shitty woven fabric, you kind of get this cardboard feel to it. I was gonna say like that's actually really cool, but then I think that's a print as well. So it's like let's go back. Let's look for another one. Go back. Let's look for another one. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Yeah. Okay. I mean, like that's pretty cool. I think that's really cool. It's very similar. Like, you know, that might not be a tie-dye either.
I think that's tie-dye.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It seems very uniform. But anyways, yeah. Like, but I could see like tie-dye. Like, I don't know. How much longer do you think tie-dye is gonna go for? Like,
I mean, I still think it's gonna. And honestly, like as a live music fan myself, I feel like once live music keeps going, like people are gonna start wearing extravagant stuff, tie-dyes and crazy colors, and just being out there.
I do think tie-dye is a very it's a very safe way to introduce color into a wardrobe. That's for sure. Like it's like I think like wearing like a pink tie-dye shirt, like it hits different than someone just wearing like
pink solid
like a solid pink shirt. Yeah,
100%.
exactly. Yeah. So okay, cool. I mean, you know what? Let's just do like a quick scroll through to the rest of the page to see if there's anything interesting, and if not, let's just move on to the next one. Let's go. Keep going. Yeah, I mean, oh, that's pretty cool. The stripe. I wonder how they did that. That's actually pretty dope. That's pretty sick.
I don't know word of that. That's sweet.
Yeah, but like, I mean, it's pretty cool. It kind of has that. I think that's a real tie-dye for sure. That's a real tie-dye. What did I do?
It's pretty cool how they're getting into more like the vertical stripes with it.
Well, yeah, you know, like I mean, I think honestly, it's like word of advice to the designers out there. It's I mean, if you want to try putting together a new tie-dye collection right now, it's I think you got to show something a little bit more novel, because I think by next year, like every other person is going to be into this whole tie-dye, like everyone else. So it's like I think the market is starting to get a little oversaturated with this, and so it's like unless you have tie-dye that really hits one way, like I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a tough market to get into. Like I don't know. Like the more I think about it, it's like I think tie-dye is going to probably last for like another year, and then it's going to be like people are just going to be over it. I think they're just going to see too much of it out there. Let's move on to the next trend. What's the next trend?
Next trend is...
Go back to the document. Yeah.
Cool. This next one is retro nostalgia. Post-pandemic consumer longing for a sense of nostalgia with rich, saturated colorways teamed up with vintage patterns and geometric designs.
So I got to be honest with you. It's like, you know, when I think about... Oh, there's more tie-dye over there.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you know, when I think about like this whole retro trend that's going on right now, I feel like this is the market basically going like, dude, we're out of ideas. Because let me explain what I mean.
But fashion is very cyclical.
Yeah, I know. But I'll tell you why I'm not buying this shit. It's because like, first off, it's like, look, man, after the, I mean, everyone, like, I mean, you read all these like BuzzFeed articles and shit, like talking about this too, about like how in the 1918s, after like the Spanish flu, it was the Roaring 20s.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody knows, like starting from 2022 to like 2024. Everyone's gonna want to flex. You know, everyone's going to want to dress up and look really cool and everything. Yeah, but like, let's talk about this retro. Like, click that. Like, you see where the mouse is over? Yeah, like, click that guy. Click that guy. This is a very, okay, I mean, this print is loud, but like, you know, I mean, go back to your description, what you were talking about. You could just look at your computer. Yeah. You see, when you're talking about like vintage patterns and geometric designs, hate to break it to you, bro, that shit's been around like literally since the beginning of like 2016 when like the prints were coming in. It's like everybody does geoprints and vintage patterns, okay? Basically what this retro nostalgia is basically doing is adding cool colors to it, you know? This is a circular print. Let's keep going through this. I mean, let's keep going through this. It's, look, and I'm not saying that it takes zero skill for a designer to design this. I think matching colors is a really big deal. But like, I mean, look at that short. Like, okay, that's actually that's pretty retro. I'm not gonna lie, that one's actually pretty cool. So like, yeah, but like, go back, yeah, like click that. Like that's a super simple print, you know, like these kind of prints have been around for a really long time, but I do feel like this whole retro thing is basically, you know, like, you know, continuing this geoprint pattern, but implementing like really high contrast and really high saturation of color. Like, you know, like the black and white contrast before this would be like really, it would be more muted, you know, like they would use like smaller prints, I guess. Like this, like the geo prints are getting a little bit more like oversized. Go back. Let's keep scrolling through. Or like, yeah, I mean, okay, like now these are all like jump shoots. Let's kind of go back up to like the geos that you looked up and everything. You don't have to click it. Like I want to see the full page with all the prints on it and everything. Yeah, but the whole yeah, like I think this is a good one. Like, yeah, so if you kind of look at the like like
The array of different.
yeah, like this whole array and
designs.
everything. It's basically like understandable prints. It's just in the past it would be a lot of like navies, a lot of blacks, a lot of grays, and now they're just implementing a lot of like these old retro colors, like the bright oranges and like I guess like warmer tones like the reds or like olive greens, and like whenever I think about this, like I think about that like color story of like like what is it? You know how like those people used to wear like those polos, like those blocked polos with like those really rich colors? Like I don't
Rugby polos?
not like rugby's like it was like like when you watch like Mad Men and like I always imagine like or like Catch Me If You Can and like stuff like that where it's
Great
like
movie. Great
yeah
movie.
yeah but they're like they're wearing these like really really loud colors and or like retro colors basically. It's basically implementing retro colors into like our current geoprint theme,
Yeah.
and it's
Well, and these are the kind of
Hey, you know what?
they're exploded.
You know
too.
what?
They're not like they're mini
yeah,
geos.
yeah, you change. Yeah, that's a big thing. Okay, I was wrong. I'm not going to say it's a cop out. It's not actually a cop out. Yeah, like the prints are getting a little bigger. I think that's a real thing.
And I think that's the whole vibe that they're going for is loud, expressive, bolder, bigger,
Right.
and then using again those bold, saturated colors to really make it pop.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the
Next trend?
next
Okay,
trend.
cool. So next trend is digital fantasy. So this is digitized reality inspired by gaming in the 1980s dawn of the digital age. And what I came across was Huff and, basically really incorporating the licensing of gaming, especially kind of the early age of gaming.
Right.
So, think
So,
of
what was this trend called?
digital fantasy.
Digital fantasy. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, when you did mention this to me earlier too, it's like I haven't really seen this trend like out in the market.
And when I was doing my research, it was
Yeah.
really hard to find
Yeah.
more stuff on it. I mean, this is obviously talking more about Street Fighter, but the trend that they're talking about is more having these digital scenic landscapes of kind of these futuristic utopias and what that would look like.
So I'm guessing what I want to know is this more of a print play or like a color play? Because like digital,
it's definitely more of a print play.
yes, because like it's like, yeah, I mean like that's the whole thing. It's like I don't really see it, and so is it going to be like literally like cartoon characters and very literal ideas of like futuristic digital shit, or is it like, like because I mean I could see like. I mean, if I see this as a color play, it might make sense because you're starting to see a lot of neon out there. Like a lot of these like crazy cold colors. But like
sure.
it's like basically another loud color play. Like how like retro's really loud, but it's very warm.
Yeah.
It gives.
I think there's going to be a lot of like kind of like pixelated graphics and
Okay. Yeah.
that on that realm and like I said, kind of those utopia-ish looking scenic places that
Right.
where it could be in the future. I think it's just why it's a trend is because COVID has really kept people indoors.
So everyone's gaming.
Exactly, everyone's gaming. So
VR is
it's
a big thing.
100%.
Yeah.
So let's bring it on to the fashion world and put it on there. People can express.
Right,
This is what I'm about. I
I
like
mean-
the digital world.
I mean, it makes sense. It's just I haven't really seen. Okay, so let's see what like Huff is doing with this shit. Okay, so yeah, a lot of licensing, Street Fighter,
have
Fighter,
all
very
the characters on the back.
very old school. It's very nostalgic, but I guess like very Ready Player One-esque.
Definitely.
Okay, let's go up to that one, the alien, UFO T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, like this is what I mean. It's like this is like very loud colors. Like this is
neon. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's like Area 51. Like I guess that's like the futuristic part of it. But I mean honestly, like the way I see it, if this was like a navy shirt with like a white and gray print, like I feel like this is a color play for me. Like a lot of hot pink, a lot of lime, lavender. Yeah, you see even the white one has like it's like super loud.
Exactly.
Okay, I mean, man, do you see this in the men's market or the young men's? This is probably like,
Definitely more young men's.
Probably in the young men's market, right?
Young
yeah, but
men's.
like the funny thing is like the Street Fighter is like, man, like I played that when I was a kid, and I'm in my 30s now. You know, like so it's like I'm not exactly the young men's market. I mean it's interesting. Oh, dude, let's see the Y2K one. It's like, yeah, I mean, God, I don't know. I mean, for me, this kind of feels like a cop out too. That's just a really good graphic designer,
Yeah.
And it's just like a regular T-shirt,
No, definitely.
Yeah.
It's just on a square print. You know, it's nothing.
Yeah. Let's go to let's go back to this. Let's see. Let's go. Look, tie-dye.
Yep.
Anyways, H for huff. Okay.
I mean, also using like UFOs and kind of these,
Man.
like the pyramids. I saw one down here. Look, the flying pyramids.
Yeah,
As if,
dude, this is like a straight Joe Rogan effect, man. That's what this is. Like, it's like that guy's just like taking over the world. Like, that's what I'm thinking right now. It's like, yeah, very Oh, I mean, that's a cool tie-dye. Let's go to that. You know what? Let's go back to tie-dye real quick. That's a nice tie-dye. Look at that. You see, like, that's something different. Let's see the other color too.
Kind of like a cut and splice type of tie-dye.
That's
kind of
definitely a tie-dye.
Yeah.
That's definitely a tie-dye. Like,
sure.
I think, like, yeah, man. Like,
It's a good.
that's pretty dope.
It's a level up from the normal tie-dye.
Yeah, but I'm willing to bet you anything. This is a warning for all the consumers who are going to buy this shit. One sleeve is going to be shorter than the other. I promise you that. Like, I'll bet you anything.
Because of the dyeing process.
I'll bet you anything, man.
Shrinks.
Yeah, no, because like in order to get, like, this is definitely a garment process. In order to get that color to actually take on the garment,
it shrinks.
you have to use hot water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That side's going to be smaller than that side. I'll bet anything. I'll bet you $46. That's how much it's going to cost you. You know, get it. Yeah. But like, no, I'm serious. Like, it's like that's I mean, it looks really, really cool. Don't get me wrong, but you're a sucker if you buy it.
Just be forewarned, you heard it here first. The left arm will be shorter.
Don't sue me, Huff. Anyways, let's go back. Let's see. Okay, I mean, yeah, I mean.
I just thought it was just kind of an interesting trend that they're going in. And
you know what? Can we go back to? Can we see that Huff one? The one on the bottom. Yeah, that one. I want to see if they have anything like in the back. Yeah, I mean, like this feels very digital and futuristic to me. But there's nothing on here that indicates that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just color, you know? It's the color. It's
dark ground with very bright colors.
Yeah, very like high saturation, high contrast, you know?
This is also a big trend too that they're talking about typography.
Yeah,
so a lot of typography and just kind
like
of
verbiage,
patchwork verbiage.
A lot of hits, a lot of hit prints.
Exactly.
You know, it's like
it's kind of sporadically placed all over.
Right, like random placements. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't know. I mean, we'll stay tuned. I know maybe Valerie will show us something really cool. You know, next season. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. Okay, let's move on to the next.
Cool. Yeah, and the last trend is our Rerooted Craft. So really deep-rooted traditional crafts from across the world, showcasing prints and patterns reclaimed from their own heritage, unrepresented groups, and really collaborating with local artisans.
Okay. So this is like the hippie play.
Yeah. So these.
Look at him. He even has a Jesus beard. Yeah.
Jeff, is that you?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so
again, these really...
I mean, this is interesting that your research came across this too, because it's like, whereas like the retro and the digital and, you know, all these other trends, even like tie-dye, what we're covering right now is like very, very high saturation and color.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this becomes really muted and earthy, you know?
Yeah, but I think that's kind of like, again, the re-rootedness of it's kind of just the originality, kind of going back to the kind of like homeland kind of feel. So I mean, it's not really like, so they're going to be these nice earthy tones with these really cool.
So I gotta ask a question. Let's go back to the sagebrush, whatever this guy here. Is this considered retro? That's what I want to know. Is this considered retro?
I mean, it has a retro vibe to it, in my opinion. I mean, and also it's kind of geoed in a way that it's the AOP with all.
Right, but then this isn't the retro that they're talking about, you know? Like this is like the whole wallpaper thing, you know, like very like boho, very but like way less saturation and color. So, I mean, so is this like the hippie retro? Is this should we call this vintage? Is it vintage?
I think it's vintage for sure.
So it's more vintage than retro.
Yeah.
So like retro is like more like upscale, like very loud, versus vintage, which is like
more subtle.
You know, like dumpster diver, like, you know, oh, I picked this up at a thrift store.
Kind of like a little like it'd be like a hand-me-down type of type of piece.
So it's like softer colors. You know, like, can you go back to your description? I want to see the description again. So it's like, yeah, you're kind of talking about like heritage and underrepresented groups with like local artisanship and authenticity. Like a lot of key words there, kind of, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, I try to do as much research as I can and find some good examples of these clothing companies that are doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it is interesting. So it's like that, like while there's a lot of different trends right now that are going to like the bright, high saturated colors looks.
Yep.
There's also this where it's like very muted, very earth tony, very I don't know. It seems like. I mean, look, I can't say it's boring, but you know, it's like it's very soft. I guess. I guess soft is the right way of describing
I would say how it differs from the retro nostalgia trend is that this is definitely a softer play. It's a little bit more contemporary in terms of not as popping out bold with those those bold saturated colors.
Yeah, you know, it's so interesting that you call it contemporary because you know I think you might be right about that. But the interesting thing is, I want to say like up to 5 years ago, retro was contemporary.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Like go back to the Ricky Regal.
Yep.
Yeah, all this stuff. This used to be considered contemporary.
Yeah.
You know, like this was it. And then now, like I guess maybe contemporary and like mainstream are sort of like switching places. You know, like because this like, you know, is it safe to say like the casual look is over? You know, I mean we're really casual right now, but I mean we're still kind of in lockdown right now. You know.
Yeah, and I think that's, and I feel with buyers and what the other salesmen are doing, key is comfort right now. So a lot of fleece, a lot of joggers, those type of, they're selling good right now. But I think once we kind of step out of this pandemic, I think that's when people are going to be like you said, strutting their stuff, expressing what they're all about through clothing.
Yeah, right. So I'm guessing it's like, so for next year, you know, if you're a designer hard at work for like developing for spring 2022, you know, maybe even like fall 2022, you know, it might be prudent to like, you know, start like focusing a little bit more, less on that whole comfort look and more on like, whatever this is. What do you call this?
Bold and out there in my
opinion. I guess so. Yeah, but it's like casual. I think casual is gonna be dead after this too.
I mean, how much has sales gone up for like fleece and stuff?
Bro, it's sky high.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
we're sold out of everything.
But honestly,
basically.
I think that's just due to a lack of market. You know, I mean, if you really want to get into it right now, it's I just think there's a lack of supply out there. I think that's why sales are super overinflated. You know, we're not doing anything really special right now, you know, but like our sales are jumping like crazy. I feel like it's due to just a lack of supply in the market. You know, I mean, just for your reference too, like right now it's, buyers are asking us to cut more shit. They want to buy more shit and I can't buy it right now because the reason I can't buy it is because yarn prices are just stupid high. It's through the roof. I want to say like yarn prices right now are almost double what they were like last year.
Jeez.
Okay, and the reason why that is I was asking around because, you know, we do production out of India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, even China. All of them across the board are struggling with this shit, and basically all of them are telling us right now there's just a lack of cotton out there because when the pandemic actually hit, all these cotton farmers started farming wheat and like food items.
Got it.
You get what I mean? And so like it's like they spent like half a year just like not producing any cotton, and then now that the economy's like kind of like coming to the fold, like I know like I read like the global market shit every single day, you know, and it's like I know that the cotton prices are dropping right now because I do think there is a resurgence of cotton supply out there, but like I also think too that like it's I think it's going to take a couple months for it to actually like trickle down the supply chain to like the fabrications and everything like that. But I think just overall there's just like a lack of supply out there right now, and also I think like people bought enough fleece last year to kind of last them for like the next 3 years. You know, it's like I don't think next year you're going to go shopping and being like, oh shit, where's the hoodies at? You know, it's like people are going to want to start flexing again and wanting to go out again and everything, and it's maybe that's what your trend research is showing you as well. You know, it's you know, I think that's what it is. You know, so yeah, I mean that's all I really got to say about that.
Cool.
But anyways, you have anything else to add? No,
that was basically all the topics I wanted to cover, and looking forward to next week's podcast.
Okay, great. So let's just do a quick recap before we end this. The four prints that we highlighted. TieDye is not really a print, but it is a garment process. So TieDye, what's taking that to the next level? Retro coming back, strong, rich colors. Digital fantasy, just digital age nostalgia, I guess. That's
Yep.
what you call it. And Rerooted Craft. Yeah, I guess that's like the sustainable play of the future.
Yeah,
you know, like kind of,
and using
Yeah.
using natural fabrics and kind of really just like you said.
you know, but you know, going back to the roots. So
Yeah,
how to
exactly.
do shit.
Exactly.
You know? Okay, cool. All right. Anyways, Sean, thanks for all your work, and yeah. we'll see
Till
you
next week.